Yeah.
All right, I would like to officially call to order the Tuesday, February 18, 2020 meeting of the Bolton Conservation Commission. As always, we'll start with a roll call. I'm Brian Barabee.
I'm Kip McNamara.
Jeff Bryan.
All right. First up this evening, the commission will now continue a public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, and the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233, for a proposed addition on an existing single-family home at 164 Green Street.
Green Road.
Green Road, my apologies.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members and interested audience participants. My name's Dave Sadowski. I'm the principal of DJ and Associates out of Clinton, Massachusetts. I'm here with the applicant, Mr. Callahan, who owns the property as well as being the applicant. He's seeking to put a garage addition on. We were here at the last meeting and we talked about a few different things that needed to be looked at on the site. One was to recharge the rooftop. We have come up with a detail that shows a downspout, shows a leaching pit, shows a cover brought to grade, shows elevation work, and shows the pits on either side of the building. So the existing building, which has no recharge currently, will now be recharged, and the proposed addition will also. There's also a note that grading is to restore to its original condition once the pits are installed. There's another note that talks about the driveway itself and the 25 foot with the stone wall. These notes were all put in here. We had passed in plans that probably all have them. And it talks about how the finished grade of the floor is 465.1. The end of the existing paved driveway is 464, so it'll be a 1 foot, 1 inch pitch over the length of the driveway, which is very, almost flat, but enough to allow water to flow over. Anything that says FG is finished grading. That's what the FG means. It's shown, it's explained here, and it's also shown up here in the legend that FG means finished grading. Previously, we had changed the, from hay bales to straw wattle. We show where that is and where it was pulled in. I can't remember what else we were supposed to look at or do. I'll turn this phone on. Sorry. Apologize for being on. One of the suggestions previously was that we take and we extend the blueberry bushes all the way down and leave a 5 foot buffer by the side of the building. But in lieu of that, we came up with the idea of recharging both the roof here and the roof there. We felt that at that point, since we came up with this alternative, we didn't need to show fruit or berry bushes along the side. We'd be able to restore the existing lawn like the lawn was there in its condition now, because basically all this is being recharged and all it was lawn. It was running off at a certain percent. Now it's being caught and trapped and being sent down. So instead of that 0.35 runoff, this area would be completely recharged. And the roof water is clean. It's not like it's got salt and other things from the road where you need some type of sedimentation forebay. All it basically does, it goes right down in. I mean, some people have little 55-gallon drums and they use that for their gardens and things like that. So anyways, we'd be recharging the aquifer instead of letting it run off down the road. And I'm open to any comments from the commission. Let me turn this phone. Should try to-
No, I'm trying to think of the three things, if I remember, it was the three things we talked about last time, right? So one was the detail coming down, which we've done that. One, and we talked about pervious, if we're gonna pave it, to do a pervious pavement, which I see on there as well.
And then the counter offer for the 20 foot was the recharge system, but you wanted to come up with details and drawings and test holes have been, test holes have been done. It's acceptable, there's no ledge there, they will go in. So, yeah.
So that is this here. This is where it will be.
Here and here. This will be for this side of the building, this will be for the addition.
originally we talked about putting one in the middle of the front lawn, but by the time I plumbed it and brought it all the way around, it just would've been crazy. So the expense.
It would have been too hard to get water from the back of the building to the front of the building too, so now by having them at either end, we're able to take the gutter system from here and here, or the pitch will be from here this way, from here that way. It'll be a 32-foot run on the gutter or a 36-foot run. We have a blow up too.
Yeah, just the recharge.
Shows how the downspout attaches to the building, it shows how there's a clean out, there's actually a,
And the downspouts we blind in, so it comes in.
I went and looked at it, it looks like a good solution to me. Not getting close to just to the intermittent stream or whatever.
Is it 4 feet square?
it's around.
Oh, it's round.
Sure. Beautiful. Sure.
It's this, right?
Yes, that's just blown up,
Yep.
make it easier to see.
Is there any maintenance plan on cleaning it out? You said there's, clean it out, is there a maintenance plan for the debris?
Well, they're gonna be the gutters are gonna be the leak rag ones.
Are they? Okay.
Yes, because the roof actually has the 2-foot panels, so they slide off when the sun hits.
Mhm.
So that way it won't hold up ice dams and stuff or get trapped in the gutter and knock the gutter down, so it's gonna have to be kept. So that it just collects all the runoff,
Just
the
the
water.
runoff and stuff.
Yep,
And I believe the diagram there shows a 24-inch cover
yes.
on top of the chimney, which would allow you to be able to get
Yes.
down to the pit if you had to. Again, it's not like it's gonna be on the side of the road collecting sand and other things, it will only be, like you mentioned, leaves.
My
Leaves,
conclusion is
yeah.
leaves.
Yeah.
Trees and stuff.
And the chimney height will be adjusted just to the grade, so it will,
Call this
5
one.
feet or something,
Yeah,
go
chimney.
down, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
it's gonna be whatever.
It's called the chimney, the
Pitch from the,
the
Underground.
risers that come up off the leach pit itself, sometimes called chimneys, but
that's why it's gonna just adjust it to grade for the chimney.
Additional questions? Yeah.
No. You,
the last one, yes.
Yeah, the best I can remember.
Well, the minutes.
To comment.
it said in the minutes, but there were 5 things.
Yeah.
I've gone over every one of them,
I was gonna
so.
say, Rebecca, did you have thoughts on this?
I think they addressed the commission's
Yeah.
comments last time.
Right, in that case, it's an NOI, so I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for 145 Green Hill Road. 164 Green Hill Road as well, at the same time. I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for 164 Green Road.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the notice of intent, or that we issue an order of conditions, based upon the most, current plans, dated February 11th, 2020, submitted at our February 18th, 2020 meeting. Oh, do I hear a?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Paying attention to this. Aye.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Where are you gonna put the tree?
Yeah.
She's gonna do it. Hi, yeah, you're gonna get a bedroom.
And as I always say, you guys are volunteers, thank you for your service.
Olivia, can you say thank you?
Guys, name is.
Good night, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Would like now, the Bolton Conservation Commission would now like to continue the public hearing continue the public hearing under Mass General Law, Chapter 131, and the Bolton Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 233, to continue the public hearing for a notice of intent for the Town of Bolton proposed replacement of a partially collapsed stone and HDPE culvert on Wattaquatic Hill Road over an intermittent stream. I don't know if I even have a legal property, but I think we're officially open. Thank you. And I am pleased with this one, so. Actually, I probably shouldn't have opened it. Well, I can keep my seat and just recuse myself here, correct? I can go sit in the audience. I will happily go sit in the audience. Can I heckle?
Recuse myself also.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I honestly have no feelings against it.
I don't either, yeah.
Either way, really, no financials, so I have a.
You don't have financial interest?
Well, no, I
What
don't.
are you
I mean,
talking
it's-
about?
We're butters.
So-
Just
My
be the
Well,
three
I-
of us.
My family's about this.
To the
Yeah.
brook, to this stream that's going through there, I mean, to this thing that he's talking about.
Yeah, and again, I have no real interest in it, but technically I'm in a butter, so just
Oh,
best practices, I wanted to abstain, but I don't know if this list is a quorum.
I mean, I'll just state that.
You're recusing yourself. If you would like to, I would suggest that.
I would recuse myself.
Okay.
Can we still vote?
You can still sit in the room.
Can, you still sit in the
You can sit in the room because you're still a
room.
citizen.
No, yeah, but.
Then yes,
Just
on
kidding.
this project, yes.
But we can't vote tonight, or they can't vote tonight?
I believe we can.
Yeah.
Because you still have the remaining.
So here's what happens, if you have a party of interest and you have to recuse yourself, you can maintain your seat at the table for the purpose of forming the quorum. You
Gotcha.
cannot participate in the debate.
Gotcha.
You can make comments, you can't vote. However, when the quorum exists, a vote can occur as long as you've got the votes at the table to make it pass.
so we have the votes.
Well, no.
We don't know yet.
Yeah,
So we can
We
say.
don't though, because we have three, we would need 4 signatures.
Oh, so you don't, or, right, you won't have that to sign it, you're right.
So, well, we can at least discuss this and get everything ironed out.
should I leave the table?
No, you don't need to.
No,
You can sit it down.
just put your hands over your ears.
Well, yeah, really.
Yeah, you can listen.
Does everybody have the evidence?
Yeah. No, but I've never emailed. I might have her cell phone.
Let's see, she's not in a butter.
Well, let's see.
Well, if you just quit,
There you go.
then we only need
There
three.
you go. Does that work?
Listen.
Does that work?
You want her to call, you want her to call you?
Yeah. I doubt she's gonna
You're in the
answer.
chair, and then
She's-
you get to.
Because if she calls in, we put her on speaker. This project just keeps getting colder.
How long does it take for us to, if we have to have another meeting? If we have to do one of those lovely meetings where we basically just have to put something in the paper tomorrow, where if we can get together for like 3 minutes at town hall, just to close it, approve it, and sign it?
So it would have to be in
It's just have her, I don't have her phone, just a, you know.
So you have to post the meeting, it's already been advertised in the paper, so there's nothing in the paper.
Oh,
that's
you're
meeting.
right.
You just have to post it
Just
48
So,
hours before the
so it
meeting.
would have to be Thursday.
So would that be possible if Lori and I will stay out of the discussion, but you guys have a final discussion tonight, we post a meeting in 2 days at town hall where
But
we
we
get
can't-
4 of us together at town hall
Do we have
to
to
hopefully.
Can we just come in and sign it with you
Well,
Thursday
well,
morning?
basically, we could have the meeting, but we could open the meeting, vote to close it, vote to approve or disapprove, close the meeting,
Yeah.
done.
Can I
try.
do it from afar?
Okay,
Can I call into it?
Possibly. Is Jen, are you getting a hold of her?
I'm trying to.
Okay. So that's the other option is we'll discuss it, you two can't discuss it though. Hash out what we need to, if there's anything that needs to be hashed out, and then I'll post an agenda tomorrow. No. So then it would be, cause it's Friday. So then Friday, we could meet and,
She's dealing with children right now.
Friday's easier.
okay.
Can we meet at Bolton Spring Farm? I don't know if that makes your life easier,
I
like,
mean, if
we
it's-
can meet there, just
Whatever.
to open it and close it, if that gets
Come to
us.
the back line.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Make it.
hold on. So it's gonna be. First, after we discuss this evening, what time?
Friday evening?
Or during the day? Well, no. Morning, first thing in the morning, anyone?
I could make it work, I could basically do it.
You're busy all day.
7:30 in the
Then
morning.
she's gonna call in 5 minutes.
7:30 in the morning?
She's gonna call 5?
She's like, I could call in 5 minutes. The house phone will come up as a Clinton number, so she's gonna call here, I got a feeling.
Is she gonna call, does she have my phone?
She's got my number.
Okay, so she's gonna call
So
you.
you wanna
Okay,
maybe-
so
Give
why
it
don't
give it a
we-
minute for, just let her see what she's doing, so.
Okay, so we can at least, the 3 of you, discuss this. When she calls in, she was here at the last meeting, so she knows sort of what's going on. And we'll go from there, so, do you wanna provide a quick summary of the project in general?
Sure, one thing that we neglected to say at the last meeting, I don't mean that in a bad way, is that, just a reminder, is that when this wall first caved in, we came to the commission and requested emergency certification, so this is actually the culmination of what we wanted to do on the emergency cert, which was to better understand it and take this into design and then, design and propose a project to remedy the problem. So that's exactly what we've done here. So we just didn't say that in the first hearing. Nothing has changed as far as the design is concerned. Rebecca did have some questions with regards to resource areas. So given the fact that the brook is an intermittent stream, there is no bank as a resource area. However, there is BVW, and there is going to be some temporary disturbance of the 25-foot no disturb zone.
I'm gonna put you on speakerphone for a minute here, okay? So here you go. Can you hear everybody?
So, for the record, Emily Winter, our other commission member, is leaving via cell phone because both Lori and Brian have to abstain from this public hearing item. Okay.
You got that, Emily?
No, I can't hear any of that.
Here, Rebecca,
It's okay, she didn't.
give it to her.
So Joe is just giving us an update on some information that was asked for. We're talking about Wattaquatta Hill Road.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for calling us, by the way.
No problem.
You just wanna continue?
Sure. Emily, what I had just offered before you called back in, and thank you for doing that, was a reminder to the commission that when the culvert and the retaining wall along the side of the road first failed, we approached the commission and sought out an emergency certification to stabilize the work and to make some stopgap repairs to at least maintain flow of water. And in that order, in that emergency certification, it obligated us to come in and do more studying and engineering work, come up with a design. So I just never said that in the first hearing 2 weeks ago. So I just wanted to remind everybody that this is closing the loop on that process. Beyond what we had submitted 2 weeks ago, Rebecca did have some questions with regards to the resource area disturbances that we're going to be making. First was the question regarding the bank. Given the fact that this is an intermittent stream, there is no bank to an intermittent stream, so that's not a resource area. However, there is temporary disturbances to both BVW and 25-foot no disturb zone under your bylaw. And I mean temporary is during construction itself, which is during dry periods, mind you. We will be working within those areas that are resource areas to undertake the work, and then like I said 2 weeks ago, not like Long Hill Road where that was wet with no ability to drain the pond down. This stream does go dry during the summer months, and this is when we'll be doing the work by contract. We're gonna be obligating the contractors to be doing this in the months of July and August. So those disturbances, as temporary as they are, they're also minimal. It's not as though we'll be working in the water like we had to down on Long Hill. I'm not sure if that summarized what you were looking for.
It did also.
Rebecca has specific square footages and quantities of those areas.
Yes, so the 25-foot no disturb area, there's about 8,480 square feet proposed to be temporarily altered. And within the 100-foot buffer, and then, which is also under our local bylaw, adjacent upland resource area, that alteration totals around 26,750 square feet. And again, no riverfront area because of the intermittent stream, and the majority of the work is within the roadway itself and replacing that culvert. They did receive their DEP file number, which is file number 1120686. And they did have a couple comments, so I'm just gonna read those quickly. Culvert replacement should meet stream crossing standards to the maximum extent practical, and then sourcing where that is. Applicant should demonstrate and provide an evaluation as outlined by the same source. Please provide updated information to Mass DEP and to the Commission. Stream bed material should be of mixed gradation with smaller material particles to fill in voids. To prevent subsurface flows, please provide additional detail. So after speaking with Joe, obviously at the last meeting, they stated that a box culvert isn't necessary, but they are going that extra mile to meet some of those stream crossing standards to the maximum extent practical for this project. So it is both benefiting not only any wildlife that seems to go through that area, but also, of course, the level of the water as well. And then, do you want to talk about the stream bed?
Yeah, there's no issue with the stream bed. We can
Okay.
update the detail before it goes out to bid to include, the inclusion of fine materials in river bottom, stream bottom, type of materials between the rock. The great opportunity here is that the cross-section is much, much wider, and with a natural bottom compared to the old stone culvert. What we will ostensibly be doing is reducing velocities by moving the same amount of water through. So by reducing velocities, we're actually maybe enhancing opportunity for critters to migrate upstream. So the greatest extent practical is probably an understatement of what we're doing. I think we're doing a pretty good job on that.
I would agree. Does any of the commission members have questions about this? Concerns?
They'll
Emily, do you
replace
have any
the
questions?
disturbed stuff will get
No, I
replaced.
don't have any questions.
Yes.
Okay.
These temporary disturbances that they were talking about right down in the in close proximity, if you think of the bulkhead, that stone rubble bulkhead that holds the roadway up, it's the implementation of wing walls of the culvert and fortifying those walls. So, even though they're impacting, the temporary impacts, it's actually better than what the ongoing situation has been, and that's the collapsing walls. Because we're stabilizing them.
I have no
So
traffic.
if the commission feels that they have enough information to make a decision, someone should make a motion to close.
I'll make a motion to close it. Let me read
Yeah, second one.
that. I'll make a motion to close a notice of intent for the Waddick Hill Road proposed replacement of a partially collapsed stone and HDPE culvert on Waddick Hill Road over an intermittent stream. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Hey.
Aye. Aye, good. So be it.
So now someone would need to make a motion either to approve the plans as submitted, with, and issue an order of condition as drafted, or deny the plan.
All right, what, so we have to make a motion.
So make a motion to either approve or deny the project as proposed.
Project as proposed.
And issue an order of conditions as drafted. If you're approving.
So I'd like to propose a motion to approve the project as proposed and issue an order of conditions as described,
As drafted.
as drafted. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Look at that.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay. So Emily, thank you so much. You can rest and be well and drink
Sure.
fluids.
Tell Hannah to get some rest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Emily.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
No, at the end, we did that once with a number of rec, you think.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
exciting.
exciting.
Yeah. We're messing up in science.
So what are you gonna do with the traffic?
4 o'clock in the morning.
What are you gonna do with all the traffic? Gonna shove it all down Manor Road to Miles and turn it right?
We've got a pretty detailed, traffic mitigation plan.
It's on there.
The two sheets I worked on with-
I should
No,
just take the week off.
Actually, I think you're gonna see a pretty good respite, because when we shut, there's gonna be a 7-day
You're
period.
gonna shut down
We're
the
gonna have to
water.
shut that down, 7-day period.
So where's everybody gonna go?
It's a big, huge detour, it's gonna be it's mostly that through
Bay.
traffic that comes in.
Yeah.
It's Old Bay,
Yeah.
it's a huge detour. Old Bay to.
Oh, yeah, I
to
know.
Wilder and around, or
Yeah.
Old Bay down towards Berlin and out to 85 that way.
Yeah.
And so how long can you stretch that out, like the whole summer?
Just the Polish mill,
Yeah.
Huh?
just the Polish mill and send it that way.
Yeah.
From,
Polish mill, across from the high school.
What used to be 5 points.
like when we shut down Longview, what we're gonna have to do is a week or two beforehand, we'll be putting, construction coming through Grafton on Lowell. We put those message signs up and get them out there, in advance. But, the beauty of this environmentally is the stream is dry. The other part of it is traffic's at the minimum. There's no school to worry about. And honestly, it's pre-season before the vineyard gets rolling.
And he's gonna change that so that this is, you don't have this thing coming in.
It's not a merge anymore.
It's not a merge anymore, it's gonna be a stop.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And how long will it
Yeah.
take here? 2 weeks?
7 days for the closure to, when we have to really just be in the roadway, but it's gonna take about 3 or 4 weeks to get the project done. So we'll be out of,
And you're gonna do it at the same time they put the lights on at the end of Waddick?
we'll be out of that project way before this starts. I'm sorry, you guys.
You're fine, you're
I'm
fine.
just-
No, I was
No,
curious
he
to
was
hear all
looking for
that.
his agenda.
I was looking for this,
That's why I
yeah.
said your name.
No. Here's yours, that's yours, right?
Thank
Mine is
you.
written all over it.
It worked. Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, in that case, I'd like to make,
Well said. Thank you
Do
very
we
much.
have any
Appreciate you doing
changes?
what you did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Changes, questions of the minutes? All right, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the February 4th, 2020 meetings as drafted and submitted at this meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, do you want to talk municipal vulnerability
yes.
preparedness program?
So, Taggart updates, we don't have much more to update on, aside from we are waiting for the appraisal report to come back. And I will be before 27th, which is next Thursday, I believe, to hopefully address any inquiries they have about outstanding questions about the property.
Join the 27th.
Okay. And it's the municipal vulnerability preparedness program updates are that we did receive the grant funds. And we have chosen, or the project manager, I chose BSC Group. I reached out to Fossil O'Neill, MAPC, is our regional planning council, and BSC Group, because we want to have an agricultural component and a focus on that within this planning grant. They're doing a lot of work with soil science and analyzing those impacts within the future. So they were very excited about bringing that into the assessment, even though we were funded $15,000, which is a lot. It is the standard for MVP planning grant, so we don't have an expanded scope, but we're still hoping to have that component singled out a little bit more. We will be forming a core team, which we already have most members for. I'm happy to represent the Conservation Commission, but I figured I would open it up to the commission in the event that any of you would like to participate. It's going to be about 2 to 3 meetings of the steering committee or core team, and then there will be a workshop that is either a day long, so 8 hours, or it's 2 4-hour workshops. And we're leaning towards the day long so that we can just grab someone or a group of people for the whole day. But, so does anybody have any interest in that? You don't have to tell me tonight, or if you just want me to partake as part of the commission, I'm fine with that. Or representing the commission, rather.
I think it would be great if you would represent the commission, but I mean, if
I'll
somebody
second
else
that.
wants to go, it doesn't hurt to have 2, right? It's not either
Yeah,
or.
yep.
All right, so I'll look till, let me see what my schedule looks like. I don't know that I would be available, but I might very well be.
Yeah,
It's a
there
great
will
idea.
be a community or a public listening session at some point as we report our findings as we're going through. So there will be opportunities for everyone to get involved. You don't necessarily have to be a member of one of the teams moving forward to partake in it. The other thing I do want to
Can I ask a question about this? Is there like a job description of what the meetings are gonna be about, was somewhere written for this municipal preparedness program?
I can send it to you, but it's, right now, it's quite simply that. It's similar to the hazard mitigation plan,
Yeah.
where it's a lot of the department heads or department representatives meeting, talking about climate adaptation resiliency versus hazard mitigation plan was talking about hazards and mitigation. But it will follow suit with that same format almost.
Okay.
And obviously BSC Group will be involved through all of those meetings, creating visuals, presenting data, so that we can be providing better output for the public, creating a better output for the public. The other item we have is the volunteer land steward position. As I said very quickly at our last meeting, we're very thankful for the time that our volunteer land steward Jeff has put in, and the amount of time and effort to manage over to assist, but also manage over 2,000 acres of land, and over, I think it was at least over 63 miles of trails, but I believe it may be more than that.
47.
47?
Yeah, 47 miles of trail.
63
miles of road, isn't it?
63 miles of
63 miles
road.
of road, 47 miles of trail.
But to hit all the miles of trails, you end up walking like 65 miles.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for that, but again, we are looking for applicants for the volunteer land steward position. It will be in the paper, so send, your cover letters and explain why you would be interested in that position to the commission through my office. And then mail, we received none.
No, ma'am?
It's very
I wish I
strange.
had some great at home. It's like,
I actually have two sort of questions. I was at a meeting on Saturday that had to do with the community garden.
Yep.
What's going on. And two of the people brought up, and I don't know what they were doing, they brought up mosquito control things that they're talking about.
Yep.
Spraying for mosquitoes and stuff like that. Do we get involved in that kind of stuff?
I do.
Okay,
So-
I just, I'm worried, personally, I'm worried about them spraying stuff that kills mosquitoes down on top of my head, but I don't know whether or not that's,
So that's not something that's on the agenda this evening. We're
Okay.
not going to speak about that now, but I do know there's a public hearing or a public meeting that is coming up. I don't remember the date, it's in March though. And I've been sitting on the mosquito
okay. But we're aware as
response committee. Yeah,
somebody
we're
that's
of it.
aware of the impact on our trails and,
Yeah, so right now, we're not saying we're gonna spray, the point of the committee is to collect information and then relay that information to, the public through this meeting. And then if, in fact, we wanna move forward as the committee, then we'll bring it to town meeting as an article, to do
The only-
whatever action that.
the only reason I brought it up is because 2 or 3 of the gardeners were worried about, because of the EEE threat from last year.
Yeah.
And how come, because at that garden, there's a lot of mosquitoes down there, because it's wetland all around it.
Right.
It's just, they were there before. Anyway, I just wanted to bring it up, just to, that's all.
Anything else? That's fine, I'm curious to.
Yeah. I'll look up the public meeting and figure out what that is.
I think it's on Board of Health website.
Yeah.
anything else new and interesting?
Interesting.
Oh, one other thing.
Pertinent? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Two
You
things.
go off on that one.
Tomorrow night, as a carryover from last year, we didn't host our agricultural workshop. So the Clear Valley trustees, myself, the Bolton Conservation Trust, who had been working with us prior, and then the AgCom, who again was working with us prior, but the individual who's working with us stepped down from different positions. But our workshop will be tomorrow night in this room from 7:30 to 9:30. And we will have speakers talking about land protection. And in addition to that, our first speaker will be talking about the soil science that they've been working on through the subgroup, I believe is under MDOG. And the last speaker will be talking about successional planning, so, just thinking throughout your life, what you wanna do with the land, what does your family wanna see done with it, or does it not matter, what are your next steps, are you planning that far ahead or not? And we will have pie, food, and coffee, and some very good handouts. And I also went to a meeting this morning about a Forest Legacy program, which is a federal program, and the Nashua River Watershed Association, which I sit on the Wild and Scenic Stewardship Council for, is trying to see if they can put together a regional effort to apply for that Forestry Legacy program grant. We were at a meeting today, and there was just about probably 15 people there, and well over 1,000 acres that people had in mind. And that was the point of this, was is there enough interest, is there enough land? At minimal amount, they were thinking 1,000 acres collectively.
What was the total, 1,500?
No, 15 people.
In 1,000 acres?
1,000 acres was over that. Some people said they have 200 in their town, some people had 100, some people had 50. So it ranged from town to town, but it sounds like we're going to start reaching out to the landowners and see if this in fact is something that we'll be applying for. So we'll know within the next month and a half if we're moving forward, if there's enough interest from the landowners. So that's very exciting to have that many people involved, but that's all I have for new news.
That's good. Anything else new and pertinent?
That's it.
All right, in that case, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn the Tuesday, February 18th, 2020 meeting of the Bolton Conservation Commission.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.